friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. We are wrapping up my January budget today, and I for one am happy to see January go because it was a very high spending month. I set myself what I thought was going to be a ridiculously easy budget to follow, and I still feel like I blew it in a major way. So let's just get into everything for this final week in January. That's going to go right here in week 4 of my hybrid budget. February budget principles are available to my channel members that have that perk. So if you're interested in setting up your budget for February, you want to get my budget principles, you can join my membership. All of the information is down below when you click the join button. But for now, let's wrap up January. The last week in January is the 23rd through the 29th. So the last couple of days of January are going to roll over into my February budget. This is going to be the last of it for January. So, as always, the categories that we are tracking here are subscriptions, which are everything that I have on auto pay. There are some subscriptions in there, but it's not entirely subscriptions. For my February budget, I'm going to change the title of this line item because it's confusing, and I understand that. We have groceries, which, surprise, surprise, I overspent in again. I don't know what it is. For one, food is just more expensive, but also I feel like I have taken some of my shopping addiction and rolled it over into buying groceries. Since groceries are like a need to have thing, it's just a self-control thing. I need to get it under control for February for sure. We have eating out, and we have spending. So as with always, I am using the expense tracker that I filled in with my channel members. That was a members only video. For February, I'm thinking I'm going to share my expense tracking here as just part of my regular content. You guys seem to love the budget videos the most out of everything. So I think that's what I'm going to do. No promises. I haven't decided. I haven't even decided what I'm going to do today, let alone next week or next month. But that's what I'm leaning towards right now. And I have the hiccups and I apologize. So let's just start filling this in. And I should zoom you guys in so you can see, eh? If your eyes are as bad as mine, you could use the zoom. All right. So for subscriptions this week, I spent $46.37 total. And last week when we checked in, my subscription budget had $82.96 remaining. So we're going to be under budget overall, which is so good because I'm going to need all the help I can get. Because when it comes to spending and groceries, I am way over budget. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm way over budget and eating out too. It was just a rough month. It was my first month back to budgeting in a long time. And clearly I failed at it. But at least I wrote everything down and I'm taking that as a win. So we had $82.96 remaining in our subscriptions budget last week. We spent $46.37, so that means that we have $36.59 remaining, and that's the end of the month. So we are under budget there, which is so good. So overall, is all the flipping back and forth going to be annoying? Probably. I'm just going to fill in the spent categories for everything, and then we'll bounce back and forth and do the remaining balances and fill in the monthly budget. So for groceries, I spent $437.13. And I said this to my channel members. I feel like I need to reiterate it. My groceries line item is not just groceries. It's all of the groceries that we eat. It includes my Factor meals that I get every week, which for February, I'm going to have Factor as a separate line item, I think. It also includes any pet food, cat litter, pet stuff, treats, toys, and it includes all of our household stuff, toilet paper, paper towels, laundry detergent, everything. So I didn't spend $437.13 on just food items. I want that clear. Like, when you see my overall grocery budget for the month and you see that I spent like $1,500, there's a lot of things wrapped up in that. So maybe I need to separate it out. But I mean, it's the money spent, whether it was spent on dog food or, chicken nuggets, it was spent. So it doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to justify these huge numbers. There was a time when my grocery budget was $100 a week. And boy, oh boy, do I miss those days. All right, for eating out this week, we spent $86. And for spending, we spent $112.62. So now we can flip back to the previous week and figure out what we have remaining. So at the end of last week, I had $159.59 in my grocery budget. And I spent $437.13. So clearly I'm over budget in a big way there. Negative $277.54. Yikes. For eating out, we had $44 remaining last week. And we spent $86 today, or this week. So again, over budget. And spending, I was already $489.19 over budget. And then we spent another $112.62. But in my defense, a lot of this spending could have come out of sinking funds, but I hadn't set up my sinking funds yet. So it's really not as bad as it looks, being $601.81 over budget. At least 500 of that was all items that should have come out of sinking funds. And you can see here when I wrote my budget, I allocated $1,000 for sinking funds, but I ended up only putting 500 into sinking funds. The other 500 I funneled back into my budget to cover some of this overspending, because a lot of the spending I did in the month was on medical stuff. It was on celebrations for my son's birthdays, and those two things both have sinking funds, and I just had been too lazy to set them up. So really, if you take off that 500, I'm really only $101 over budget with spending, which is still terrible, right? Like, we went over budget all over the place, but it's not as bad as it looks. So let's fill in this hybrid budget here, this monthly section, and figure out how much over budget we are overall. So if we have $36.59 remaining in our subscriptions, and we budgeted $250, that means we spent a total of $213.41. My husband's motorcycle insurance, I totally missed when I was doing my expense tracking with my members. Sorry, members. I'm going to have to look it up because I have no idea what it was or when it was, for that matter. It's one of those things that come out on auto pay. It probably should be lumped in with the subscriptions. I don't know, you guys. When I was setting up this budget, I was all over the place. It was my first budget back, and I feel like February is bound to be better just because I'm not as rusty, if nothing else. So motorcycle insurance came out on the 25th. So that was included this week, right? And it doesn't matter. $21.26 is how much that ended up being. So we're under budget there, which is nice. That's the only place. For groceries, we were $277.54 over budget, and we budgeted $1,500, which I thought was going to be astronomically too high, and we were going to come in way under budget. And look at me having to write in the negative numbers, which is terrible. So we spent $1777.54 on groceries this month. And again, that includes household items, that includes pet items, but still, holy cow, that is crazy. we are all stocked up on food. We should be able to keep our grocery shopping to a minimum in February, but we'll just have to see how it goes. Be on the lookout for my February budget coming tomorrow. For eating out, we were $42 over budget, which means we spent $542. I hate having to go over budget. This just breaks my heart. For spending, we spent $1201.81, but again, some of those were sinking funds. It's fine. So the buffer hopefully will eat up some of this overspending. Everything's filled in. Let's add it all up. Now, we did come in under budget in a few categories. $743.65 plus $213.41 plus $92.70 plus $212.11 plus $504.81 plus $150 plus $200 plus $55 plus $21.26 plus $375.40 plus $1,777.54 plus $542 plus $1,201.81 plus $1,000 plus $500, $7,589 with 69 cents. So I budgeted $7,400 overall. So we went over budget for January by $189.69, which is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. We had that $200 buffer that obviously we ate up. I didn't put as much towards sinking funds, and that helped offset it. Still, we're over budget by $190 or $89. So I want to make note of that. I'm going to transfer $189.69 from my savings to cover that. And February will hopefully be better because that is crazy. We spent a ton of money in January, but it was my first month back to budgeting. My very first month budgeting, when I very first started my debt-free journey, I definitely went way over budget, and it was a learning experience, and that's what I'm going to take from this. It's a learning experience, and hopefully February will be better. Now, in good news, we put $1,000 to the credit card we're currently working on, which is a Discover card. So that means my Discover card, which started out, let me see if I can find it here, started out at $6,000. We have brought that down to $5,000. We paid off a big chunk of the debt in January. I'm hoping to pay another $1,000 in February, and I'm hoping that February just overall is going to be a better month. So if you are interested in seeing my February budget and you have not already subscribed, make sure you click the subscribe button so that YouTube will notify you when I post new videos. I've been uploading videos 5 days a week here on my channel, Monday through Friday. So 5 regular videos, plus I've been doing 2 members only videos a week as well. So lots and lots of content, especially if you are a channel member. You can click the join button below to get more information on that if you're interested. But if nothing else, make sure you subscribe. That's completely free, and it will make sure that you never miss a video. All right, friends, that wraps up January. It was a rough month. Let me know how you did in January. Were you over budget? Were you under budget? I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.